Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial, and for today's tutorial I want to show you how to make this Sine in the Valley bracelet. The pictures really don't do it much justice, but I wore this to work this morning and got a lot of compliments on it. So it is actually a really gorgeous bracelet. It kind of domes up. It's not a straight flat bracelet, so when you're making it, bear in mind that it's not going to sit flat, it's going to be curved. So that's the way, but when it sits on your wrist, it sits on your wrist absolutely perfect with no qualms whatsoever. It just, it's really silky and smooth. And I'm using pretty much standard beads that mostly everybody's got or kicking around in this. So I thought I would not use anything fancy. So this is the bracelet, and there's the cup button closure that I'm starting to really take favor in. So for this beautiful bracelet, and I call it Sine in the Valley, and the word Sine, S-I-N-E, if you look it up on Google, it's just a wavy line. So basically exactly the way this is, that's the Sine. And they're kind of in valleys because they're between crystals. So if you want to make this bracelet, what you're going to need for this bracelet is just some regular Czech seed beads in an 8/0. So these are an 8/0, and I'm using like a pearly kind of lustery greenish color, bluish. They're more like this color, turquoise. You will need some 3mm fire polish, and I'm using jet in this color today. You will need some 15/0 seed beads, and I'm going to continue to use the black because I think the black showed up very, very nice on this. And you will need some 3mm crystal rounds. I tried it with pearls, and I'm going to tell you right now it doesn't work very good with pearls, so bear that in mind. I am using a turquoise cup button, and this is a Picasso turquoise. And if you don't have a cup button, you can use any kind of button or any kind of closure that you want. You don't have to do what I'm doing. But this herringbone closure, what I'm really starting to like about this is because sometimes it's hard to judge if your bracelet's going to fit you or not, making it, especially knowing that you can only make, you can only do so much of the beading, and then you got to leave room for a closure. I like this because it gives you a chance to either extend your bracelet to make it longer or shorten it. Now, in this closure here, I discovered something that would work really well. Now, you might not like this, but you can shorten this in here. You can put one hole here and a second hole here. So if you don't know a person's bracelet size, if you had a hole here, you could slip it in there, and this piece would just dangle down, which would be just fine. It would look really nice. Or you can put it in the second hole. So whatever you do in this one, you would have to do in this one, and just not put all of this herringbone in there. So I am actually going to do that because I didn't do it in this one, and I want to show you guys how to do it. When I say something, it would be nice that I show you how to do it instead of you trying to guess, especially for the new beaders. So you will need a size 10 beading needle or 12, whatever is good for you. And I am using my trusty old Suffolk's, whoops, no wonder that was poking into me at the wrong end. I'm using my trusty old Suffolk's Fireline, whatever you call it, fishing line, whatever you want to call this. And this is a 4-pound monofilament equivalent. So it actually says 10 pound, but it works absolutely well with this bracelet. You will need a pair, snippy scissors, whatever, fire burner or thread burner, whatever you got. So let me go and dump all my materials and string on about two big arm spans of thread, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my 2 arm spans sort of thread on my needle, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up 4 8/0s on our needle like this, and then we're going to bring those down, leaving, I don't know, 6-inch tail, just enough to hold on to and tie it off and have hitch knots when you're finished. So I'm just wrapping these around my finger because I'm going to go from the bottom through to the top, and I'm just going to make a circle. and then I'm going to go and reinforce this circle one more time. So when you pull the two threads together, it will form sort of like a circle, like this. Okay, so let's go through all of these 4 beads, and then you're going to go through one more bead after you do your 4, because you want to go in the bead past your tail. And that's what I'm doing. So I've done my 4, so I'm going to exit out of the bead that my tail's exiting out of, but only it's in the different direction. Alright, so this is what you should have. One section of right angle weave. So that is what we're doing. We're doing right angle weave with 1 needle. A lot of right angle weave is done with two needles. For some people it's easier. For some people they just want to do it with 1 needle, and basically that's me right there, 1 needle. Why bend 2 needles when I can just bend 1, right? Alright, so the first thing you're going to do now is pick up 3 more beads. We need to make sections of 4 beads like this one, and we're going to share this bead, and it's this bead that you're sharing is the one you're always exiting out of. So all you're going to do is make a circle and go back through, oops, go back through the bead like that, and then pull. And then you've made another section now. But you need to be in this bead so you can add another section, so I usually just go through both beads, make 1 pass instead of doing 2 separate passes. Okay, so there's 2. It's not going to be super tight, it's going to be a bit wonky, but that's okay, don't worry about it. Pick up 3 more, exiting on this way, so this time I have to go this way to form a circle. And we have that. So this is what we have. We have 1, 2, 3 sections. Ouch, poked myself. Now, again, we need to be up here to add another section, so just go through those 2 beads and pull. So now we have 3 sections done. Like this. Now, what we're going to do in here is do this the whole length of the length you want your bracelet to be. My bracelet's an 8-inch bracelet, so I've got 35 of these little sections in here. So I'm going to go ahead and make 35 sections so I can show you how to do this kind of this double closure, which would be really awesome. If you don't know the size of a person's bracelet, you can, or wrist, you can always make it that closure on it. Now I'm going to pick up 3 more, and I'll show you one more time. We're coming out of this bead, out of that way, we're going to make a circle and go back into that bead, exiting the same way our thread's exiting. So, and we're going to pull that, I flip it over, and then I just go right back through those 2 beads, so I'm exiting at the top there. And that's it. So do this if you're making an 8-inch bracelet or a 7-inch bracelet. Make sure you leave at least 1.5 inches for your closure, or you can make it 1 inch. You can do whatever it is. This is about 1 inch and a little bit. Okay, so I'll see you back here when you get your first row of right angle weave done to the length that you need, and I'll be back. Okay, so now I have completed the length that I want, and I did 35 of these sections like I said I would do. And when you complete your row, you'll be ending in this very end bead right here. So this is where you are ending. Now we're going to go along the whole entire side and work out of these little beads, these beads on the side that look like a peyote stitch. The only thing is you're going to be using 2 beads to make 1 section. To make that easier, I'm going to show you. So pick your work up, put your needle into the first side bead. So these will be called side beads. All along here are side beads. These are top beads, these are bottom beads, and these are side beads. So you're going to put your needle into the first side bead of that last section that you put on. Okay, so I'm going into the side bead here. All right. Now in this very first one that we do, we're going to still have to pick up 3 beads. So pick up 3 8/0s and just make a circle to form one more section. So like this. So you have 2 sections. Let me put this down so you can see it. I kind of got it lopsided, but anyway. There is 2 sections here. You've got your 4 here, and you've got your 4 here. Now, we're going to share this bead and this side bead, or this bottom bead. So, refer to top bead, bottom bead, side bead, side bead. Okay, so now, like I said, we're going to refer to, because it'll just be a little bit easier for me to explain this to you by referring to a top bead, a bottom bead, and a side bead. So now, right now we're in a middle bead, because this is the middle bead between the 2 sections. So you need to get into this bead so we can share this bead and this bottom bead to make another section. So all you're going to do is go into this next side bead, like this. You're going to go into that side bead. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. There we go. So as you can see, we've got 2 beads. So you're going to pick up 2 more 8/0s on your needle, and you're going to go through this bottom bead and back into this side bead that you're originally exiting out of. Normally you would take 1 pass and 1 pass. I don't do that. I go through both beads because I like to just make 1 pass. So now let's pull this into place so you can see that you just formed another section. You see now how this is working out? So there's your 2 top beads here. Here's 1 section, here's 2 sections, here's a section, and here's a section. Now again, we're exiting out of the middle bead, and you can't just jump straight across into here. You have to go into this side bead in this next move. So, exit your needle into this side bead here, pulling. Okay. So now you're exiting here. So now I just need to move some beads out of my way because everything is just in my face here and too hard for me to show you what to do because I can't stretch out my bracelet because it's sitting in my 8/0s here. So let me just move all these out of the way. There we go. Alright, now we can get some business done. So as you can see, we're going to share this bead and this bead. So now you're just going to pick up 2 more 8/0s on your needle, and you're going to make a circle, and I'm going to go through this bead and this bead. So I'm going back into this one here, the side bead, and into the bottom bead of that new section we just put on. So I'm going to make 1 pass into the first bead. So there's our section, but we are really not in position to put another section in. So let's go through this bead, so we've completed that section and made it nice and secure in there. So now we need to go through this bead, and this bead. So we need to go through 3 beads now. So we're going through the side bead on the new section, the bottom bead and the side bead on your previous row. So this is what you should have. Hope you can see that. So pull that through. Now we're just going to make another section. So pick up 2 more 8/0s on your needle. We're going to share these 2 beads. So we're going to go into the bottom bead and back into this bead. So you're doing exactly what you did previously. So you're going to repeat these 2 steps right down through to the whole bracelet. Okay, so now we're exiting out of the middle bead and we've just completed another section. Okay, but we're exiting out of this bead. We can't just jump across. So remember, you can't just jump across into here because you will see that thread. So you just go into the bead right beside where you're exiting, and then you can begin to put on another section here. Okay, so this is right angle weave with 1 needle, and it's trying to explain it the best I can, and I hope you guys are understanding it. Pick up 2 more beads. Now you need to make a circle, and you're only picking up 2 beads for the remainder of this bracelet. So remember, you're sharing 2 beads from the previous row and the previous section you just put on. So you're going to go through this bead. You're just going to repeat these 2 steps the whole way down. Okay? Now you need to go through this bottom bead to complete this whole section here. So pull your thread through, and there's your section complete. Now, to get in position to share these 2 beads, now we can go here, here, and here, because you need to go into this bead to join this section that you're making to this previous section you just put on. And I know I'm making this sound really complicated, but I'm not trying to. Okay. Okay, next you're going to pick up 2 8/0s on your needle, and you're just going to make a circle going back this way now. So you're going to go do the same step you just did previously by going into that bottom bead and into this side bead, adding your 2 new beads like that. All right, so now as you can see, you're exiting in the center now, the one where you share the bead on both sections. You're not in position to, you can't jump straight across. Remember I told you, you cannot jump straight across here because you're finishing this section and you want to join it this way. So don't jump across this side bead here. See this bead here that's facing straight up and down? Don't just go into this bead. You must go into this bottom bead that you just put on of this section. So put your needle through there. Good thing these holes are big on 8/0s. I wouldn't have got that in. So I really suck with my left hand. Okay, so now we're in position to add 2 more. So pick up 2 more beads, make a circle, and come back through this side bead on your previous row, putting that into place like so. Now you're in the middle, but you're facing the wrong way. You need to be facing the right way, right? So go into this one. And usually I would make this pass all in one. So I'm trying to show you the right way. And then we need to go through this bead, and this bead now. So just remember where your needle's positioned. Okay, and now we're going to get ready to make a new section. So pick up 2 more beads, go through this bead and this bead I like to do it 2 passes, or 1 pass if I can. And there's your new section. Now you're going to exit into the bead here, like so. Oh wow, that's just a baby knot, really is. Okay. And don't worry about how loose all this is, because it's going to tighten up, I promise you. Alright, so now we need to add a new section, so pick up 2 more. Come around with your needle and go up through this one. And normally I will take this one, so I know that my next pass I make, I have to go through 3 beads to get into position, because I'm way over here now. See where I'm at? And I need to be over here now. So you're going to go through this bead, the bottom bead, and this side bead. So I'm going through all 3 of those beads. Instead of making 3 separate passes to end up in the same place, pick up 2 more beads, 2 more 8/0s. And now you need to go into the bottom bead and back into this, or yeah, this bead and this bead, to make your next section, like that. And now to get in position, we only have to go into 1 bead. Okay, so if you do this, follow along the way I'm doing this, so you know that you only have to pass through 1 bead if you cut corners like I do, because it's not going to matter on this one. If you cut corners like I do, you know that each one, so this one here, I only made 1 pass to get in position to add my next section. The next group you do, you know you have to go through 3 beads to get into position to put your next section on. So let me show you what I mean. One more time. Pick up 2 beads. Come through this bead and this bead in your first pass. Okay? There's your section. Now your second pass, you're going to go through 1. You're going to go through this bead, and exit out of the side bead. So you've went through 3. So you've made 2 passes in 1 section. That's done. Now you're in position to do your next one. Pick up 2 more beads. Now go through this one and this one in 1 pass. And in your second pass, because I'm exiting towards my beadwork like this, I only have to make 1, go through 1 bead to make this easier for you. There we go. So you still have all your sections the same, nothing's changed. So I'm here, pick up 2 beads, go through this bead this way and back through the bead you're exiting out of for 1 pass. Tighten that up a little bit. Now I'm going to go through 3 beads for my second pass to get in position to add more. So I'm going through all 3 of those beads, like that. Okay? So, pull that in place. So now I'm ready to do this one. Pick up 2 more, go through this bead and this bead, and now you've put on your section. So you know that the last time you went through 3 beads to get into position, now you're only going to go through 1 bead and you're ready to go. Normal, I'm showing you shortcuts, but normally if you're an advanced beader can do this no problem. They don't need to lay their work out. They can see which next bead to go in. But for a new person, I know this is a little more complicated for you to understand. That's why I'm trying to make it as easy as I can and as simple as I can, instead of making so many passes. If you just lay your beadwork out like this and follow along what I'm doing, you'll get the hang of this. I promise you. You'll be able to do this with your eyes closed. I remember back in the day, gosh, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was trying to follow Kelly Dale's right angle weave. I got so frustrated because I couldn't understand what she was doing. And I think I was making a diamond pillow top ring. And I know the whole base of the ring was all right angle weave. And I was so confused, so troubled, that I had no clue what I was doing, that I just gave up. So I don't want you to give up if you're a new beader. You know, just look at here. You should see the shape, the way each bead should all be formed. You're sharing the middle bead. Always remember that middle bead is being shared by both sections, okay? And I'll come back after I get this row finished and I will show you what to do next, okay? Okay, so I'm at the end of my my bracelet here, and I've put my last section in and I'm exiting here, but I want to be exiting here. So I'm going to kind of go through both these top beads here to put our cup button on. So in order to put your cup button on, you want to pick up 2 8/0s, put your needle through one hole of your cup button, bring that down, and then you're going to pick up 1 15/0, 1 fire polish, and 1 15/0 on your needle, and go down through the hole of the second hole of your cup button like that. Okay, and whoops, I'm snagged, and bring that down. Now you're going to pick up 2 more 8/0s on your needle. You're just going to make a circle, so those 2 beads at the top that you went through, you're going to go back through them. And this is where my tail is, so it's going to get kind of in my way, and go through those 2 beads like that. Placing your cup button like this. So now we're just going to go back through all of these and reinforce them. So let's go up through the 2 8/0s, the cup button, and try to catch the 15/0 all in one pass, because it's really hard to get your needle in that 15/0 once it's sitting inside that cup button. And pull nice and tight. Go through your 3mm fire polish. Back down the 15/0, the cup button, the 2 8/0s you put on, and then just go back through the 2 base ones, these 2 here. And then we're going to go again another time by reinforcing it for a 3rd time, because the more you reinforce it, the more secure it is. So make sure you catch that 15/0 in the same pass as going up through that cup button. Wow, I keep snagging. There we go. Go through the fire polish. Go through the 15/0 and the cup button and back down. Like so. So now your cup button is good and secured. Now you're exiting out of here, so you're just going to drop down into your 2 base beads that you started in, like so, and then you're going to go into the next bead on the side of your right angle weave. So you're working on this outside bead right there. So exit out of that. And now we're going to put in our fire polish. So let me grab a few fire polish here. Now pick up 1 fire polish. You're exiting out of this side bead, go into the next side bead, and you're just going to work out of all these beads on the side only. Let me get this tail out of the way so you don't get confused. Now you're going to pick up an 8/0, so you picked up a 3mm fire polish. You're going to pick up an 8/0 and you're going into the next 8/0 on the side. Pick up a fire polish into the next 8/0 on the side. So we're just, like I said, working out of these side beads. Pick up an 8/0 and go into the next 8/0. Firepolish into the next 8/0. And you're going to do this. Oh, damn, I hate getting snagged on that corner. So this is all you're going to do all the way down. You're going to put a fire polish in every second one and an 8/0 in every second one. Do that all the way till you get to the end of your bracelet. And then I'm going to show you how to do that double hole closure so that your bracelet becomes versatile for 2 wrists. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I've got 1/2 of my bracelet embellished on the edges, which the black looks really nice with this turquoisey color. Now what you're going to do is you've ended here at your last bead. You're going to come up like the same way you did here, and you're going to go through those 2 top beads, pulling them together. Then you're going to pick up 2 beads, and you're going to just make a circle like so, and sit these 2 beads on top. Now you're going to take your needle and go back up through the first bead you put on. Okay, so you're kind of doing herringbone. You're going to do this one more time, picking up 2 8/0s, drop down into the first bead, and then come up the first 2 beads and pull. All right. Now what you're going to do to make your first hole, almost like a buttonhole, okay? Pick up 18 of your 8/0s. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay, and all you're going to do is go down the next hole, the next beads, and go down through them all, because you want to kind of reinforce this loop, and then go through the 2 loops that you started in on your base. So now you have 1 loop, which we know your button will definitely fit in there. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way up through. Okay, we need to go through these 2 beads here. We need to be in that position there. So we need to work up till we're exiting out of these 2 beads. So let's go up through our 2 that are in our herringbone row. And now we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's make sure we're even on each side. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Now you want to exit through 17, or the 9th and the 10th bead. Okay, so you want to be exiting out of these 2 top beads here. Alright, like this. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a little bit of extra herringbone. So pick up 2 beads, drop down into the first bead, or to bead number, okay, let me start this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bead 9. So go back down into bead 9. And then bring your thread over and go back up into bead 10 and into your bead you put on like this. So you go down 1 and up 2 and pull this nice and tight. Okay, so there's your first buttonhole. To me that looks like a buttonhole. And let's just put our loop through, make sure it fits. And it does. So it fits. That's made for a smaller wrist. Now for somebody like me who wants a size 8 bracelet, I'm going to put an additional 16 beads on. So count 16 8/0s. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So now I have 16 in this loop. Now all you're going to do is go back through all of these and reinforce it. So go all the way back down, all the way around, and back up. So we're just reinforcing these 2 loops. So go across the bottom here where you are and go back up through every single bead in this entire loop. So I'm trying to do it with pulling it nice and tight. Through these, down through these, and I am going to go through this another time just because I want to secure this. Okay, so we've got double looped, so it's kind of versatile for 2 wrists, 2 different size wrists, and through there. So now we're going to check our button, check to make sure it fits in the first loop, which it does, which means now we're just going to have a little thread or a little dangle hanging down if it's that size that they need. Or like me, this looks a little too big for me even, probably is. Let me see. It's not too shabby, so it's, oops, it's just getting it stretched a bit to fit over. There we go, and there. So this is basically 1 1/4 inches. So you have 2 loops in here, but like I said, reinforcing this is going to help in the stretching of it. So, because every time you stretch it over that button, your thread stretches. I promise you it does. So I'm going to go through this loop one more time so I can end on this side and begin my embellishment on this side to finish that part of the bracelet. So let me go back up through these one more time quickly. Like so. Like so. So if you want to make this for a gift, it's a good idea to make the double loop because you really don't know what size a lot of people's wrists are, and if you have to guess, then this way if you're guessing, they got 2 possibilities of it fitting them. Instead of you having to take it back and taking it apart and making it the right size, which I ain't gonna be on the right side. Oh yes I am. Okay, so there's our 2 buttonholes. So we have 2 buttonholes and 1 button to fit. Now let's continue on with our embellishing. Oh, wrong end. Okay, so I'm going to just drop down into this side bead, and over here I finished with an 8/0 on this one, so I'm going to pick up another 8/0 and continue on following my pattern so the black ones are not staggered. Or you can stagger them, you can put a black and a green, you can change it up, you can do whatever you want. On here I left it all the same because the embellishment on top looks really pretty. But it's entirely up to you what you want to do. For the heck of it, I'm going to do it differently and see how it turns out. What the heck. So I'm going to start with a black one. and see how the black one looks. So let me start with black. So I'm going to do opposite. So when I embellish, I'll be embellishing on all the black. Okay, so I'm going to black one, an 8/0, a 3mm. Whoa, that one's broken. That can go in the garbage. Okay, so I'm going to go and finish all the way down this bracelet by adding these in here. And then I will come back and show you how to embellish the very center, adding our really pretty 3mm crystals. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so I'm finished putting on my Firepolish. And as you can see, they're diagonal, but you'll see how that's going to turn out when we work on our 15/0s. Now I've ended over here in this last bead here. So all I'm going to do to get into this middle bead here, because I need to be going towards my beadwork, is just follow my thread path by going into that 8/0 below my closure and down into this 8/0 facing towards my beadwork, which is my center bead. Okay, let me move some beads out of the way here. Now we're going to work with our 3mm crystals, and this is where your bracelet's going to kind of cup around, and you can't avoid it. So you're going to pick up one 3mm, and you're going to go right into the next middle bead that is in the middle of your bracelet, like that. So I'm going right into the middle bead, placing that 3mm on top. Pick up another 3mm, exit into the next 8/0, placing this one on top. And you're going to do this all the way down, and it's going to kind of dome up your bracelet, which you want it to do. You can see your 8/0s are already being pushed up. Can you see that? They're between your crystals. You can see the 8/0s coming up, and that's exactly what you want to do. So don't panic if yours starts doing that. So go in between every single middle bead, adding your round crystals in each one. And you're going to notice, like I said, it's going to cup on you, and that's the way you want it to be, because when you put it on your wrist, it'll take shape right away. Okay, so when it sits on your wrist, it'll always be perfect. All right, I'm going to finish this off camera. I'm going to finish putting them on all the way till I get to the end, and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do with the 15/0s, and that's your final embellishment of your bracelet. And that's where we're going to put the sign in. I'll be back. Okay, so I have finished putting on all my crystals, and as you can see, your bracelet will not sit flat. Do you see how it warps? But it does sit nicely in a round circle like this. So don't try to put your bracelet and lay it out flat. It's not meant to lay flat, and if you do, you may bust your crystals. It's meant to stay in like a bangle shape like this, okay? So it sits nice and round. And it will sit on your wrist just fine. Now, you've ended in your last middle bead here, so you're just going to go through your beads in right beside where you're exiting, and you're going to go right through into the first black Firepolish on your bracelet side there. Okay, so I'm in my first black Firepolish, and the way I found this to work with this, doing this sign, is by holding the bracelet cupped over my finger, because it doesn't lay flat. And now you're going to pick up 9 15/0s, on your needle like this. So I have 9. You're going to drop or go across and go exit into the next Firepolish like so, pulling that in there. Pick up 9 15/0s, that one jumped away. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And you're going to go right across into the next 3mm fire polish, placing that embellishment there. And as you can see, they're sitting in the valleys on top of your bracelet. Continue to do this all the way down, picking up 9 15/0s. And going into your fire polish, like so. And you're going to have to keep pulling this tight. And again, like I said, this bracelet's not going to be straight. So don't try to make it straight. It's going to sit in a bangle position. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like on the sides when you're finished. And fix these up to make them look nice. And you're just going to continue this going right across, adding 15/0s in here. So I'm going to go and finish this, and when I get done I'll come back and show you my finished bracelet. Okay guys, so I have completed putting on my embellishment on the top. And like I said, the bracelet's not meant to go flat, straight. So it does sit on your wrist completely normal, completely perfect. So as you can see, by me putting on this extra loop, this bracelet will fit me, and it'll also fit someone else with a smaller wrist, like my sister, for instance, who has a smaller wrist. So she will have this little piece hanging off, and you know, you can always hang a really nice little charm off of that. So anyway, I'm just going to finish up by weaving in my threads, tying a bunch of half-hitch knots, and there you have it. There's your really pretty, gorgeous Sine in the Valley bracelet. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this tutorial, and I want to thank you all for watching, and please subscribe and join me on Facebook. The link is below, and I will see you all soon on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.